Phew. Let me check and make sure. Okay. And looks like I'm live. Good. All right. So you might be able to hear the ducks downstairs. Let's see. I've got all kinds of things going on today. And I forgot to grab my knitting. Hang on just a minute. All right, there. I think I'll grab that. So let's see. First confession, I didn't get much knitting done while I was gone. I had a great time visiting Linda and seeing my mom. And we kind of just stayed at Linda's house the entire week. So, you know, we didn't really go anywhere, which was fine, which was, you know, because we're still pretty cognizant of the whole, hey, there's a pandemic. So we were trying to be safe and we were trying to be good. And let's see. Linda worked on a paper piecing project, and I finished a quilt top for my nephew, and just a basic one, just a really easy one, but it was fun and I enjoyed it, and I would definitely try something like that again, because it was fun and I enjoyed it. Let's see, what else did I do? I'm trying to think. Oh, Ina got to go on a boat ride, first boat ride. She went swimming in the swimming pool, first time swimming, so that was fun. And yeah, anyway, now we're back, and I will be coming to you on Mondays and Wednesdays again for the foreseeable future. I'm not really planning to go anywhere for a while. So Mondays and Wednesdays, that's my goal. I'll be back here, and we'll be talking about the knit along, and eventually when I get this done, and I didn't knit on it like at all for the last week. I really love this pattern. I love the yarn, and I enjoy working with it, but I was just focused on other things. So I don't have a quilt top to show you because I left it with Linda, because she actually has a long arm machine, and she'll do the quilting for me. I have to finish my backing, which I do not have done yet, so that's something that I have to lay out and get done soon. And then I was still really in the mood to sew, really been in the mood to sew this year, and work on, you know, on sewing projects. And so I went ahead and I had a request for another raggy blankie. So here's my raggy blankie that I was working on, and I have to wash it. You can see it still has a lot of little pieces that need to come out too. But I made this. It'll be a Christmas gift for a friend, and I think it turned out cute. It's kind of a lap blanket sized one, and I've modified the pattern now, so I don't make it exactly like the original pattern that I watched. And I'm also really bad because I don't like to trim the pieces down, so usually I try to cut it as close to size as possible and then just trim a little tiny bit, because yeah, that's what I do. And I was hoping that it would pull this up so I could make sure that I don't miss any comments, because I actually turned the camera around today, and there we go. I turned the camera around today so that I could keep an eye on everything. So anyway, let's see, important announcements. The Slow Yarn Crawl is still happening. There is still time to participate. Make sure you're doing those 2020 Slow Yarn Crawl, hashtag 2020 SYC Experience Challenge for Instagram and Facebook, so that we can find your posts. We need to start pulling some winners, because I know we've had a few people that have been posting, so we need to get that done. If you're visiting our shops, make sure that you are checking out their requirements in terms of hours, face masks, you know, waiting times or appointments, whatever that is, because every shop is different. I know that we have had some concerns about like shopping and shipping costs, and I just look at it as if you're doing it online and you don't have to drive to that store, what would it cost you to drive to that store versus what's the shipping cost? And a lot of our shops do offer free shipping over a certain purchase amount, and it does help them stay in business if you can hit that same purchase amount. Not everybody can, and we understand that, but you know, if it's something that you really, really want to do and you just can't get out and about, or you don't want to get out and about and go physically visit the shops this year, which we totally understand, then just take a look and think about what it would cost you to drive somewhere, or take the train, or you know, take a flight if you're far away, versus how much it costs to ship whatever items you choose. So just a little food for thought on that. Let's see. What else do we have going on? We still have clearance going on at Black Sheep Black Sheep Fiber Emporium. Gosh, that's an old name. I haven't said it for a while either. So we have lots of clearance going on, lots of great stuff. There's been some Alexandras flying off the shelf lately, so if you're looking for that, I would go get it now. Just some things that we aren't planning to restock. We really want to get in some fabulous threads and sashiko kits from Japan, and to do that we have to make room, and we need to sell some other stock. So that is the goal right now. Check out that great clearance and take a bundle of that home. It's not too early to start thinking about Christmas. Remember, I have already finished several of my Christmas projects. Okay, I have to wash it yet, but it's almost finished. Let's see. I can show you how far I got on my knit-along project. I do really, really love this yarn, and I do love this pattern. I just have to get back to knitting on it. But yeah, there it is. It's coming along. It's not that much bigger than the last time we talked, but yeah, it's coming along. And I love this colorway, and we just got some more gorgeous handmaiden in, I believe. I think it was shipped, so yay. Looking forward to that. Let's see. IOLI Uncon was really cool. I haven't watched all of the presentations yet, but you have to be a member to watch the presentations now. So if you're interested, and they looked really good. I started one, but I haven't finished them. Anyway, go become a member of IOLI and check that out. And I still have no comments, so that's cool. All right, now then. I have worked on spinning lately, right? We did a whole series on spinning. And in the process of that, you have to finish your yarn. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to transfer your yarn from your bobbins to something else, and it's called a nitty knotty. This is actually the Kromsky nitty knotty, and it comes apart. We do sell this one. I believe I finished this one with a little bit of wood wax, just a little something so that it didn't absorb too much water. But it's not a truly finished piece. So you can buy different ones. You can buy the unfinished, or you can buy finished ones. Anyway, this is my lovely nitty knotty. I've had it for a long time. I really like this one because it does come apart for storage. And I thought you might like to see how you use it. So I don't have a bobbin because I pulled all my yarn off into skeins so that I could wash them to show you the next part of the process. But I grabbed just a ball of yarn, and hopefully it won't wiggle away too much. But to use the nitty knotty, you would just take your end, and I always hold it with my thumb kind of in the middle, and we go up over one, and I always try to do at the turned end first, and then the plain end second, and then over a plain end, and then over a turned end. And I do that so that when I get to a point, it's really easy to pull this off of one of the unturned ends. It's much harder to pull it off of the turned ends once you have a lot of yarn wrapped around your nitty knotty. And you just keep going around and around in a figure eight. So I'll show you that one more time. So all I do is I just take my tail and I kind of hold it here on the middle of my nitty knotty. Just hold it. And then I take my yarn and I go over a turned end, and then under an unturned, over the unturned, under the turned, and then you just keep repeating that process, and you make this big loop. And this is a 2-yard nitty knotty. There are bigger and smaller ones. I happen to like the 2-yard. It's a pretty standard one. So you just keep going around and around and around. And when you are finished, so pretend that there's a tail, then what I like to do is I take my tail and I make a loop. Let's see if I can turn this. And I make a loop, just a big loop, around my hand spun. And then I take my tail and I pull it down, and then I do that again, just around, big loop, big loop. And I do this with both tails, and I try to put it so that I have a tail on each side of my figure 8. And then that's pretty secure for when you're washing it. So that's how all of my skeins are that are here in the water, and that was fun. And I just go ahead and it's called a half hitch. So you just put that half hitch loop on both sides, and then you can pop your yarn off and you can roll it up. And I'm not going to do that with this because I need to undo that. So I'll just set that down here for now. So we'll ignore the nitty-knotty. So once you've pulled that off, then I roll my yarn up to skein it, and I'll have to show you that after we get done with our little demo here. So once it is like in big skeins, so here's my lovely drippy skein, then I go ahead and I soak my yarn because we have to set the twist. Now, there are different ways that you can wash your yarn, and it really depends on whether you have an animal fiber, a non-animal fiber, if you have something like sheep's wool that has a lot of heavy lanolin in it, or if you have spun llama. Llama tends to be really dirty because they like to roll in dirt. It's not exactly dirty, it's really dusty. There's a ton of dust that comes out of llama. So if you have those, then you may find that you need to adjust your washing method. In general, you can start with warm water, warm to hot water. I usually use hot tap water. I like a gentle wool wash like Eucalan. The unicorn wool wash is also super nice. Soak is okay. I think it has a better application once you have finished your project versus washing your skeins to set your twist for hand spinning. But if you have some kind of heavily lanolin wool that, you know, you've spun a fresh fleece and you washed it but you didn't get all the lanolin out, or you wanted to leave some in but now you want to take more out, you do need warmer water. You can't let your water cool down too much. You need good hot tap water, or a little bit hotter than that. So anywhere from like 120 to 150 degrees is usually pretty good, because you want it warm but not so warm that it's going to cause instant felting when you put your skeins in. And you also want to be sure, oh, there's nobody really watching, that's great. You also want to be sure that when you put your skeins in, that you don't agitate them too much in that hot water, because you don't want it to felt. But you do want hot water, because hot water is going to help the fats melt off, and lanolin is a fat, so it has to melt off of your yarn, which is also why you don't want to let it cool too much, because then it will redeposit on your yarn. So you want to make sure that you're using pretty warm water, that you have a good kind of wool wash. If you want to strip a lot of lanolin out, you should consider something like Dawn dish soap or Orvis. If you want to leave some of your lanolin in, then the Eucalan is good. Unicorn also makes one that's called a power scour, which is good for removing lanolin if you need to do that. So you may need a stronger soap, or a soap that is better designed for your skeins if you're trying to take out lanolin or trying to take out a lot of dirt. So that's just something to think about. You may find that if you don't have really color-fast colors that you have bleeding. So, you know, don't wash your white skeins with your red skeins unless you know that your red doesn't bleed. If you're using hotter water, that's going to make your skeins bleed more. Just little things. That's also applicable to anything that you're washing when it comes to natural wools the first couple of times that you wash it. Anyway, and I'm really glad that I moved this out here. This is my grandmother's old enameled bowl or washing pan, and it has a little hole in it, which I didn't realize, and it's dripping all over the deck. So I'm really glad that I put this out here while I waited to talk to you guys. Okay, so what I did was I took my skeins, I rolled them up, I set them in my water, I kind of pushed them in a little bit to start to get them wet. Wool is water resistant, it's not water repellent, so it eventually will get wet, it just takes a while. But I pushed them down in and kind of plunged them in just a little bit to get some of the air bubbles out. And then I was using hot tap water and Eucalyptus wool wash, and now I have my skeins ready to go. So the next part is that we have to squeeze a lot of the water out, and then I'm going to roll it in a towel, and then we're going to whack it. So that is part of setting the twist, is that you take your skeins, I'm going to use the biggest one first, and I'm just going to very gently squeeze as much water out as I can. And then I'm going to take it, and again, I don't want to agitate this too much because I don't want it to felt. It shouldn't felt because the water's not very warm anymore. But I'm just going to take this and I'm going to roll it up in my towel. And usually what I do is I roll it all the way up and then I stand on it just like I do for blocking, because the weight of my body, and I'm not a lightweight, the weight of my body really helps to push a lot of that water out. But right now I'm just sort of squeezing it because I want to demonstrate this. So there we go. There's our nice skein. So there's definitely still some water in here that I can feel. And it looks pretty decent. It doesn't look too bad, but it always helps to whack your skein. So I'm just going to turn this to the side now. And I'm going to whack my skein. And a lot of times I like to use the railing like this. And I just sort of whack. And then I rotate. And then I whack. And then I rotate. And you just want to make sure that if you're using a railing that there aren't any nails, there aren't any spots where your skein can get stuck. And and I have an end that has popped loose, so I can show you for sure how I do that. So I just take this. Actually, let me roll this up a little more. Where'd that end go? There it is. There we go. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to make a big loop. Here's my big loop. I'm just going to take my end and pull it through. And it helps if you do that 2 or 3 times. You can also take it and you can whack it like this on your deck. And the idea is just that you want to set your twist. It's really good for getting your aggression out. You know, if you're having a bad day, the best thing you can do is set some twist in your hand spun yarn, because you gotta whack it anyhow, right? So anyway, this is pretty good. I'm not gonna whack this one too much. Sometimes I find that they need more than others, but this one doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit underspun. I wasn't paying enough attention when I started spinning this, and it's slightly underspun, but it's not terrible. Especially since I started this, I don't know, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't even remember when I first started these singles. So anyway, that's what we're doing to set the twist here. And I'm just going to take this chair and hang it on that chair. And it is supposed to rain today, so I may not leave these out here. But, okay. So here we go. Here's our other one. And I could keep doing this, but I'll show you my usual method, which is grab a towel, take my yarn and unskein it, and then roll it up. And we roll, 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 roll. And I don't like having my shoes on for this, so then I just stand on it. This doesn't agitate it too much because I'm not really squeezing, I'm just pressing. And then, if I'm lucky, yay, there we go. Anyway, and then I will whack this one too. Just beat it. I like it when it's a solid whack sound too. And I just sort of rotate around until I feel like I have managed to thwack all of it. Alright, there I have a little end that's trying to pop loose. So, clearly I'm thwacking more enthusiastically than the ends on this can manage. Either that or I didn't put enough loops in. Sometimes that happens. It's always good to put 2 or 3 loops in when you do this. Well, I'm guessing that I only put 1 in each end. So there you go. That is how we set our twist and we thwack our skeins. And if you have some overspun bits, that can really help to redistribute the twist. The underspun bits, unfortunately, there's not much that I can do to really fix that. So I just have to live with it. But it doesn't look terrible. Yeah, I can see some underspun bits, but it doesn't look terrible. So that is how we finish it. I have a tiny skein that I will do again later. But yeah, that is how you go ahead and you finish your skeins. Are there questions? I don't think there's any questions. Nah, I got no comments yet. Okay, so if you are ready to reskein, so say, and this applies to commercial yarns or handspun yarns, and let's say you have a skein like this, and you want to twist it up so that it sits pretty, right? Looks nice on the shelf. To do that, grab one end with one hand, take your other hand and put it through the loop, and you twist. And you can twist with both hands if you are particularly dexterous. And the key to this is that you want, and it's hard right now because this is wet, the key to this is that you want to over twist this so that as you bring your loops together, they will twist around each other. This is much easier with a dry skein, by the way. And then you just pop one in through the other, and you sort of redistribute and make it look pretty. So if you've ever wondered how to retwist yarn into a skein, that's how it happens. Alright. But this needs to dry, so I need it to be open and loose so that it can dry. And I'm probably going to leave it out here on the deck for a little while, and I'll watch and see if it rains, because if it rains, of course I don't want it to get wet again, so I'll have to bring it in. Okay, anybody have questions in terms of how to wash your yarn, how to, yeah, nope, how to reskein yarn? No? Okay. Well, alright, I think it's been kind of a fun day in terms of learning how to do some things. And let's see, Wednesday we got to do something. So let's see, I'll try to have more of my knit along finished so that we can see the progress on that, and I'll see if there are questions. I'll take questions on Wednesday on how to do anything with the knit along for the Elroy shawl. Tina's got a bunch of knit alongs going on right now, t-shirts and all kinds of fun stuff, and she's really into the veggies, as she calls them, so her cotton and linen and bamboo yarns. So if you're looking for something fun and summery, that might be something to join in with. And we have some great things on clearance that would work nicely with that. Plus we have some great budget-friendly cotton and linen yarns as well. So you can always just check those out. Let me think. What else do we have going on? The clearance yarns, don't forget those. I'm trying to clear those out so we can bring in more fun stuff. And I don't know, maybe we can get Tina to do a sashiko demonstration on one of these Fridays. That would be kind of fun. And I think that she started having groups at the house, at the new house, and you can make appointments to come in. Masks required. Make appointments to come in and browse through the yarn and goodies that we have for sale. I'm trying to think, anything else? Oh, hey, I have a comment, Beverly! Hey, you're welcome, Beverly. Trying Trying to think. Anything else? I don't know. Well, if you have questions, don't forget you can always post them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, or we'll answer them on Wednesday. And Wednesday, let's come up with some ideas. If you watch this video and you have an idea for something you'd like me to teach, something you want me to talk about, let's do that. Wednesday, we'll do sort of a question-answer session, and I'll show you the knit-along, and we'll figure out some more fun small things that I can teach you on Mondays and Wednesdays so that we can keep learning. So as always, take care of yourself, stay healthy, keep crafting, you know, take care of your mental health, take breaks if you need it, and just take care of yourself, be kind to others, be kind to yourself, and be kind to others. And don't forget to go check out our website, blacksheepfiberemporium.com. Make sure that you're liking our page so you get notifications when we go live. Make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel if you want to watch the videos later. And until next time, just take care of yourself. I will see you Wednesday at about 2 o'clock my time again. So, see you then.